everyone, it's Sienna. Welcome back to my channel. I finally got my belly pierced, which is so exciting. I love wearing crop tops now. So I just wanted to sit down and make a video about it and just kind of share my experience. I have footage from the actual time that I got my belly pierced and also just kind of like tips on the aftercare and things that I wish that I would have known before. Now, I've been wanting to get my belly pierced for a really long time, but the thought just kind of comes and goes. I feel like I never really have enough courage to go to the piercing store. I was talking about it with my friend and I said that I really want to get my belly pierced, and she was just like, okay, do it. I got my belly pierced a long time ago. It's no big deal. Granted, later on she told me that she fainted and she was freaking out more than me, but it was nice to have someone to go with me and we got it done together, and I feel like that gave me a lot of moral support, which I really needed. So I just want to talk about, first of all, why I really wanted to get my belly pierced. I know that there's a lot of infections that may come from it. It takes a really long time to heal. That's why I've been trying to be more patient with myself about the healing process. It can be pretty hard. So the healing process for a belly piercing, if you Google it, it's about 6 months to a year, which is a very long time. And I always wanted a piercing on my belly because I had a weird insecurity about my belly button. Like, I didn't really like how it was shaped. So when I wore crop tops, I just didn't really like how it looked. I could go on with my life not with a belly piercing, but I don't know, I just really wanted it. Yeah, I just kept going back and forth between, do I really want it? Should I just not do it? Because I have a history of rejecting body piercings. I only had one piercing. It was on my ear, but it was like this middle area right here. My body just rejected it, but I really like the look of it. When I thought that my body rejected my ear piercing, I knew for a fact that it might reject my belly button. I've been Googling a lot and apparently it happens so much. So that's why I kind of held off of it for a while. The first tip that I want to get into when you are looking to get your belly pierced is to find a good reputable piercing store. That's pretty much a given. But we just walked into a random piercer and we asked if we could get our belly pierced today, and they were like, yeah, we can totally do a belly piercing. We asked for the price. It seemed reasonable, but the only thing is they didn't have numbing cream and they were just gonna pierce our belly just like that. And my friend was like, because she had her belly pierced before, she was like, we're gonna need a numbing cream. Last time I did it with a numbing cream, we need a numbing cream. So we walked out and I was like, let's just find a good place online. I saw that there was a chain piercing store and they had pretty good reviews online. And we just walked in and the guy was really friendly and he was like, yeah, you can get your belly pierced. And I was like, okay. We were looking at the different designs to pick from. I wanted a pretty big stone. So right now I have a pretty big stone, but there's also a little version, smaller versions, which I like the look of the bigger ones, but I pull dance for sport. And sometimes it's kind of annoying the way that it gets caught in my clothing or on the pole. So I think I need to get it changed for a smaller stone, but I want a big stone. And they said that if you want to wear the bigger stones, you need to get it pierced with the big stone initially, and then you can switch it to a smaller stone. However, if you pierce it with the smaller stone, then you can't wear the bigger stone. So we just thought, you know what? Like, we can change it later on, we'll just wear the bigger ones. So we picked out our stones and that took a while to pick out our piercing. And then we put on the numbing cream, which is really nice. I felt really self-conscious because before this piercing, I never really cared about my body hair. I feel like it's not that big of a deal for a woman to have body hair. Like, controversial, but honestly, it's just hair on a body. Like, it's not a big deal, right? But then this was the first time that I felt self-conscious because I looked at my belly button and I saw hair on my belly button. And I've never been conscious about it before. I don't know, you don't really like look at your belly button too much, right? Oh my God, I have hair on my belly button. But again, it's not a big deal. So we put on the numbing cream. They said the longer you leave it on for, the better it is. Okay, we're just gonna go eat. This is another tip that I highly recommend that I have on my notes here, is that you need to eat well before. I highly recommend bringing also a cup of tea or chocolate bar or after the piercing as well, because some people feel really nauseous or some people feel like really dizzy. I guess it's all the nerves that are going through your body. I didn't really feel that way, but my friend definitely did. Before the piercing, I was so nervous and I didn't eat anything all day, so I felt like I was gonna faint. So we walked into like a really good restaurant and we had pasta. We had a lot of food before. We stuffed our faces. And I also heard that if you have a really flat tummy and you get your belly pierced, later on, if you eat too much or if you gain a bit more weight, then it kind of tugs on your piercing as your belly gains extra weight. So I also recommend eating a lot before you get your belly pierced because, you know, you have that extra fat. Like I gained weight after I got my belly pierced. I never had any issues with feeling extra pressure on my belly button after I've eaten too much or anything like that. Some people do. And we walked into the piercing store. My friend had a history of fainting. She was so scared that she was gonna faint again. She was feeling extra nauseous and she was like asking the piercer, am I gonna faint? And then the piercer was like, I don't know, it's your body, are you gonna faint? So I went in first because I just wanted to get it over with. You pick out your piercing, you lie down and you get the numbing cream off and he just basically pierces it. And to be honest, I feel like the build up to it was more stressful than the actual piercing because as I was getting it pierced, I was just like looking around, they were playing music and I just tried not to think about it. I was like trying to think about something else and it wasn't that bad. Pain is, I would say, a 2 out of 10. However, there is that moment when like, the needle actually like goes in. I read a review about it before I actually went in and they said it feels like someone is stabbing you on the inside for 2 seconds. And I felt that. I felt like an alien was going into my belly piercing. So I would say it's more of like an uncomfortable feeling than it is a painful one. And I would say like for a brief 2 seconds, like the pain literally lasts 2 seconds. The pain's like a 7 out of 10 because they're literally poking your belly. A foreign object is entering your skin, so obviously it's not gonna feel the best. It went like this for 2 seconds and then it was over. After that, I felt a lot better. Wow, I can't believe I just got it done. My friend got it pierced. We had to really take our time on the way out because she was feeling really dizzy, and so that's why I highly recommend like a tea or chocolate bar because we did end up going to a cafe and we had to sit there for a while for it to feel better again. Now, I was feeling all right, but I bled a lot and I didn't really read reviews about people bleeding too much. There's some people that went straight to the gym after, so I thought I was gonna be fine, but bleeding like so much and I was like, ew. And we went back to the piercing store and I told them that I'm bleeding and I showed them, you know when you're freaking out but there's someone that tend to whatever situation you're freaking out about and they're like, it's not a big deal, like it's fine, why? That's what the woman was doing. She was like, oh, it happens so much, like don't worry, which I really appreciate because if she was like, oh my gosh, this hardly ever happens, I would have been freaking out. But she was like, oh, it happens all the time, it's fine. And she said, I have really thin skin and this is for the people that have thin skin like me. If, you know, you have a hole where your piercing is, so when it moves around, a little bit of blood will ooze out. And she said eventually that it's fine and you just need to let the blood dry up, and that's going to kind of serve as like a blockage. Just let it bleed when you get home, take a shower, and don't pick at it. That's the main thing, is you're not supposed to touch your belly piercing too much. You're not supposed to like pick at it. So I literally just left it. I didn't look at it because I was so scared. Like I hate blood. So I just took a shower, didn't acknowledge it, didn't look at it, went to sleep. Another thing that I highly recommend is to ask the piercer many questions. All the questions that you have. Am I allowed to swim? Am I allowed to work out? How am I supposed to clean it? And they will tell you, but it's better to just ask everything instead of leaving with a bunch of questions and thinking you can take care of it, but it's not the right way. The main thing that we got was don't touch it. On the internet, they say like move the piercing around every once in a while. Don't do that. I didn't do that. My piercer told me not to do that. Just leave it. For the first week, every single time you shower, in the morning and at night, they give you a cream. I'm gonna bring it actually. All right, so this is the cream that they gave me, and as you can see, I still have a lot left over. So this is what it looks like. They said get a Q-tip, snap it in half, and use like the pointy side, and obviously wash your hands. Dab a little bit around the piercing. This helped a lot as well. My friend actually ended up getting infected. Use this for a week, but don't overuse it. That's the thing. Like you don't want to overuse it because you want your body to get used to it. So you use it for a week, and mine was feeling a lot better. I did actually end up bleeding like last week, which was 3 months after the actual piercing, because I went pole dance. I was moving around too much. I don't know, it just takes a long time to heal, huh? So yeah, I was bleeding again, but no big deal. I just you know, took a shower after. Now, as for maintaining, and these are tips that I wish I had known before I went in to get my belly pierced, cleaning it nonstop is bad for your piercing. If you constantly touch it, if you constantly move it around, it's just gonna cause it to get infected. So for me, what I did was I just listened to my piercer. I didn't Google anything else, and I just washed it with water. And I took a shower. You have to dry it with a hair dryer, put it on the cold setting, and you're gonna feel kind of ridiculous just like sitting there and blow drying your belly button, but you gotta do that. You gotta make sure that it's fully dry. Besides from the shower water, don't go into swimming pools, saunas, or anything like that. Another thing is to not exercise. When I was looking at reviews, some people went to the gym right after, and I just did light exercises. Depending on your body and how your body handles the piercing, it's fine for you to exercise maybe like a month or like 2 weeks later. But I just didn't exercise. I only just started exercising again, and that's been 2 months. So I didn't exercise for 2 months. I went on a lot of walks, but I did notice that I thought maybe a week or two after, I went to do some light Pilates at home, and it just felt really, really irritated. It was getting really swollen and red. And another main reason why they say not to exercise is because you're gonna be wearing tight clothing. And for a while, I was very careful about what kind of clothing to wear. I'm even careful about it now because sometimes it irritates it. Any high-waisted pants I used to love, I can't wear anymore. I usually stick to low-rise skirts. I recommend avoiding tight-fitting clothing for a while, a long time. And the very last tip that I have for you for your piercing to heal faster is to not bend over. I still have problems when I'm putting on socks because you have to bend over and it irritates my piercing. Just for the first 3 days, I think I just didn't bend over. If I had to pick something up, I was kneeling in an upright position, which I look crazy because when I was going home, I dropped my phone in the subway, and the way that I was picking it up, I guess people thought I was pregnant and people started giving up their seats for me. I was like, no, I literally, it's my piercing. I think the main thing is you can't bend over, so you just have to like stand and sit and pick up things in an upright position. I was really cautious to just sleep on my back like this, and I have never woken up in the same position that I did when I went to sleep, and that just goes to show how stressed I was about my piercing not getting infected. Pretty much in every other situation, like when I'm sitting down, I always had to like sit like this. Sometimes people say that eating too much will hurt your piercing, but luckily that hasn't happened yet. And I hope it doesn't happen because I am gonna be so sad if I felt like something was restricting my eating. But yeah, that's pretty much it for my belly piercing video. I hope you guys found this useful, and just another disclaimer is that every single body is different. My experience is so different from my friend, and we got it at the same time from the same piercer, and hers was infected, mine was bleeding, mine was fine afterwards. And if you guys want to follow me on my other social media accounts, I am on TikTok at siennah.hong and Instagram at siennahong. Don't forget to leave a like to this video and subscribe to my channel, and let me know if you guys have any video ideas for me. And yeah, I guess that's it. Okay, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!